Hi guys, in today's video I'm simply going to talk about what is the correct bankroll management for you when playing poker. Now, bankroll management is a question I get asked a lot on the stream. However, it's one of the questions where it's the most variable depending person to person of any of the answers that I'll have to give. For example, one poker player may have a very different bankroll management strategy to another one. There are a few things chucked around. Pros will say you need 30 buy-ins, you need 50 buy-ins, you need this, you need that, depending on what game you're playing, depending on the stakes and your win rate. I would say there's a very simple strategy to deciding what bankroll management you need. Now, this is going to come down to what poker means to you. Is poker a full-time job? Is it a hobby? Is it somewhere in between, like a side income? There's also other considerations such as, do you earn money outside of poker? Do you have savings? What is your win rate in the game? I'm going to give two examples of people on completely different ends of the spectrum, and you can decide where you are in the middle, and then you can decide what your bankroll management needs to be for the games that you're playing. Number one is a player who is a recreational. They play the game of poker for fun. They have a full-time job, they have investments, and they earn lots of money outside of poker. This player does not need 100 buy-ins in any game. They can play with money that they're willing to lose at any time. Their bankroll strategy is effectively zero. They don't need many bankroll management. If they want to play the game, they can play with their full bankroll if they so wish. This person's not relying on any winnings. They're literally playing the game for fun, and their bankroll management will be to play with whatever money they can afford to lose and are happy to take the risk with emotionally and mentally. Person number two, on the other hand, is a full-time poker player. They have no investments. They have no income outside of poker. Now, this person needs to essentially play in a game that they're winning in over the long term. They need to have 150 to 200 buy-ins for that game and be rolled to be able to take swings for 6 to 12 months, hence the 150 to 200 buy-in. The reason it's so high for this player is because if they lose 20 to 30 buy-ins, which is reasonable for a winning player over a month to 2 months, if they're playing with 100 buy-in bankroll, they're effectively going to have to drop down stakes, which will affect their earning potential. So this player needs to be 150 to 200 buy-ins. Now, I'm not saying that every professional needs to be there. Obviously, some professionals have other incomes, they want to take more risk. But I think for somebody wanting to take the game professional, they have no other income, they've got to pay taxes, they've got to pay for their house. You need to decide how much money you're trying to earn for poker, the stakes you're playing, your win rate, and then taking into consideration other ways to make money. If you're new to the game of poker, I would really recommend that you start with a bankroll and make sure that you've got at least 30 buy-ins for a game that you're trying to play, and then see if you can build up your bankroll sticking to about a 30 buy-in strategy. So for example, if you've got $300, you're going to play 10 NL. And as you build up your bankroll, as you get up to $480, you can go to 16 NL. And as you get to $750, you can go to 25 NL, and so on and so on. And then if you lose some money, you can go back down and just follow that strategy as you go through. Now, this might vary depending on how risk averse you are. So if you don't like swings as much, you don't want to move between stakes, then go to a higher bankroll strategy. If you don't care for the money and you're okay to lose it, it's not a big risk to you, then go for 20 buy-ins. You can work from there. For people that are playing different games, so for example, if you're playing PLO, there's more variance in the game, you probably want a higher bankroll for that one. And if you're playing tournaments, the strategy again is going to be different. I know most people say nothing over 1% of your bankroll as a buy-in to a tournament. So if you've got $100, nothing over $1 for a buy-in. But again, for like pros and people relying on the income, they'll use a much more reserved bankroll management, and they'll be not playing with over sort of 0.5% at any one time. Now, on this topic, I would say that there isn't really any one right answer to this. It's down to you as a person, how risk averse you are, how well you can manage the swings of the game, and what the money means to you and how well you can recoup money. Like I say, you need to take into account your own circumstances. Have you got money that you can fall back on? Have you got other forms of income? What are your win rates in the game? Do you have commitments that you have to pay for? And these are all things that you have to take into consideration when deciding what your bankroll management is. And that's why it's one of those questions which is really hard to answer. And I think when making a video on it, there's no one just answer for it. I can give advice, and like I say, I think a 30 buy-in bankroll management is pretty good for somebody who's willing to lose the money of the bankroll. And if you're playing full time and you rely on all that money, you've got to pay taxes and bills from it, you'll probably need 150 to 200 buy-ins. But again, lots of people are going to be in the middle of there, and you really need to make a decision for yourself as to how you're going to go. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting more content around poker, and hopefully there'll be more information to come. I also stream on Twitch TV, so if you want to watch me on there, I'll leave a link to that in the description. And let me know what other poker content you want to see down in the comments below. I will try and get around to as many as I can. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.